Hey everybody, Alex Kazora, SteelersDepot.com, back with some more Pittsburgh Steelers preview and prediction for this playoff wild card matchup between the Pittsburgh Steelers and Buffalo Bills. Let's talk about it. Before we start, if you guys could like this video, also subscribe to the channel and check out the site SteelersDepot.com. Would really appreciate that. Recording this here on Friday night. As of now, the game between Pittsburgh and Buffalo still at its normally scheduled time of 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday. Could that change due to the weather? Possibly. We'll keep you posted for sure. So this one, Pittsburgh underdogs and rightfully so, but two teams I think that have some really interesting parallels between their seasons. Buffalo, they were 6-6. They fired their OC. They, questions about their head coach future, and they felt like they were done for. They win their last five. They make the playoffs on the final day of the regular season. Pittsburgh 7-7. They had fired their OC earlier in the season. Questions about Mike Tomlin's future, the direction of this team, felt like they were done for. They win their final three. They make the playoffs on the final Sunday of the regular season. So two interesting just paths and arcs and stories to tell, even if the teams have their own, of course, unique traits and characteristics. So Buffalo offensively, I know it's focused so much on Josh Allen, the pass game. It's kind of got this, in their prime Chiefs sort of feel in terms of their personality. But I think that's in some ways off base because this team can run the ball really effectively and they can play power football. And James Cook, the second year back, has come on really strong, 1,000-yard rusher. Watch out for Leonard Fournette, potentially playoff Lenny in a snowy, wintry day with his size and power, his previous success against Pittsburgh. It's a time ago when that happened, obviously, but you never know. But their line is big. They run power football. They run these dart schemes with the backside tackle pulling. They have a lot of layers to the run game. And, of course, how do you stop the design run game with Josh Allen? 15 rushing touchdowns Allen has this season. That's tied for the NFL record for most rushing scores by a quarterback in a single season, and a lot of that's at empty. So anytime you're in situational football, third down, short yardage, a big-time weighty moment, as Mike Tomlin would say it, and Buffalo's an empty, you have to alert for quarterback draw, quarterback power, low red zone, goal line, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. Got to watch out for Allen out of empty. They run some push too, and good luck stopping that with Allen's size and the strength that he has, this offensive line has overall. So point is, they can pass the ball for sure, but just given the conditions and given their personality, they can run the ball as well. And so Pittsburgh's run defense will have to be really strong in this one. But when they do throw, how do you defend that? Stephon Diggs has not been used as much lately. His productivity has been about cut in half the second half of the season, but Joey Porter Jr. will probably shadow him and be on him in a lot of situations. And Porter can certainly win the matchup and make his plays, but Diggs is such a great and nuanced and technical veteran route runner. And when Porter has had some problems this year, it's come against guys that are able to create space. Amari Cooper in Cleveland, a great example. DK Metcalf, when he won, it was off the line on slants and in breaking routes, and it wasn't so much the kind of wrestling match at the point of attack where Porter won some of those battles late in the game, or against D-Hop back in week 9 when it was just kind of, your best, my best, physical versus physical. Porter won out. And so can Porter be able to change direction? I think he's grown by leaps and bounds, not only just in terms of his, press man technique, his tackling, his zone coverage, his recognition, being comfortable about moving around in different alignments, defending the whole route tree. That's been really impressive, but Diggs will be a challenge because that, nuanced route runner, the separator, gives a guy like Porter some more issues than the, kind of power forward, try to muscle through you like a DeAndre Hopkins or somebody like that. So that'll be key. But beyond that, I just look at how do you contain and constrict Josh Allen. My thought is to blitz. I think he still have to do some of that, especially, of course, without T.J. Watt in this game. I did look at the numbers from last year's blowout loss to Buffalo, that 38-3 defeat. Pittsburgh blitzed Allen quite a bit, over 60% of the time, and Allen had success against it. So I wonder if Pittsburgh will change up that attack. They could use some more kind of safe four-man rushes where they're going to drop an outside linebacker and bring a nickel corner or bring an off-ball linebacker, which they'd actually been doing quite a bit more even before Watt went down. But that chess match, that game plan of trying to balance pressuring Allen, which of course is important, blitzing Allen, but containing him without leaving yourself too, vulnerable in the back end is going to be, I think, really, a fine line to walk for DC, Terrell Austin, and for Mike Tomlin. Without TJ Watt, the focus is on Nick Herbig. I want to see him if he gets reps against that big right tackle, Spencer Brown. Alex Highsmith has to make his plays against Deion Dawkins at left tackle. They may rotate and move and shift these guys around more than they usually do. But I think the interior defensive line, Cam Hayward, Ilario Ogunjobi, they have to collapse the pocket. I think you can get pressure interior on these guys against that rookie right guard, Osiris Torrance, against the left guard, Connor McGovern. Cam Hayward has to really show that patented power bull rush. And I think his run defense has been excellent and improved since he came back from the groin injury. The pass rush has been better from where it was when he first returned. He's gotten healthier, but I haven't seen that just classic Hayward collapse the pocket type moment that I saw in every season he's played thus far. So he needs that. You have to collapse the pocket. That'll flush Allen out to your outside linebackers, and that's going to help generate that pass rush and that pressure. Quick final notes. There are other weapons. James Cook in the pass game, the tight ends, how do you defend them? Dalton Kincaid has not been a huge, big play down the field kind of guy, but I think he's been used more like that in recent weeks. And of course, with the inside linebacker issues Pittsburgh has had, they've really struggled against tight ends. That's going to be something to watch. Will Minkah Fitzpatrick, luckily he's returning to help offset to a degree the loss of TJ Watt. Will he be on Kincaid in some situations? We'll see. And then just one more thought. I want to make sure I get this point across because it is so important. I almost forgot about it. Can you get Josh Allen to at least 2 turnovers? He's going to make plays. He's going to have some wow moments. It's typical Josh Allen stuff. Can you balance that out to some degree of the turnovers? And to me, 2 is the magic number. I know it's a 1-game season. I probably should have looked for past years. But this year, when he does not turn the ball over at all, I think he's undefeated. Whenever he turns the ball over at least once, I think he's a little above 500. But whenever he has at least 2 turnovers in a game this year, he's 1-3. The one win coming in Week 18 against Miami, which was a pretty close game overall, in large part due to Josh Allen's turnovers, 2 picks and a fumble. So can you get to 2? Pittsburgh, they take the football away at a pretty high clip. The Bills certainly give it away at a high clip. James Cook, the running back, he fumbles in bunches. He's got 4 fumbles this year. They came in 2 games where he had 2 apiece. So that's the key. 2 is the magic number on Josh Allen for turnovers in this game. All right, flipping over to the Bills defense, it's a really quality Bills defense. They're 4th in points per game allowed, and that's despite some heavy losses of Matt Milano, their top linebacker, early in the season, Trey White, their top corner early in the season, free agency losses of Tremaine Edmonds to Chicago, and they really persevered. So you got to give those guys a ton of credit. They have injuries in this game as well. I should have mentioned Gabe Davis on offense. They're losing one of their speed guys, and that big 98-yard touchdown against Pittsburgh last year, and so that's a big deletion for that offense. Defensively, no Taylor Rapp, their dime player, literally questionable in this game. Rasul Douglas, their top corner, Tyrell Dodson, who's been filling in for Matt Milano and others, and so I have to really check the status on those guys. But Buffalo, their run defense has not been particularly strong this year. They really can allow teams to run the ball as opposed to passing on them. They're below average to bottom third in yards per carry, and big play runs allowed those types of things, and it's large part because they're a 4-2-5 or a 4-1-6 personality, really 4-2-5 and kind of their base defense overall. They don't really play with a third linebacker on the field. They use Teron Johnson, a really talented and physical slot corner. He's their Mike Hilton. But if I'm Pittsburgh, I'm going heavy. I'm staying heavy, 12 personnel, 13 personnel. See if they stay in that nickel defense, or if they kick out to a true 4-3. If they stay in nickel, can you try to overwhelm them and kind of have the size and the physicality and the run personality to dominate and control time of possession and stay on schedule and keep Josh Allen off the field? Those are all obvious, hallmarks and keys to this game. So we'll see. We'll see. Buffalo has been able to win despite this kind of, little quirk in their defense. And again, Johnson, really good player. He's physical. This guy does attack like a linebacker. But if you're in 13 personnel and they're a nickel with a 190-pound slot corner, with the way Pittsburgh's been running the football so effectively with their effort and strain and finish, that's going to be advantage Pittsburgh. For when Pittsburgh does pass the ball, Buffalo primarily a zone defense, a lot of cover 2, some cover 4, kind of some different looks there. Like a lot of defenses at this point, when you're in third and long, they're going to offer some sim pressures, creepers, not sure who's going to rush and who's going to drop, and they mix things up pretty well. They have 54 sacks this season. Only one guy's in double digits. That's Leonard Floyd with 10 and a half. And so they're getting it from a bunch of different people, the DBs, the off-ball linebackers. It's a really active defensive line. They chase and swarm. They rip the ball out. Look at that Patriots game, how aggressive they were, making plays in the football, forcing fumbles. It was a really fun game to watch from a defensive appreciation standpoint. That D-line's got some dudes on it. Ed Oliver's really strong up front. Their ends are talented. They got some high draft picks over there. So, just collectively, I think it's a really technically sound group, pretty fundamental defense overall. The one thing that really concerns me most of all is how veteran that safety pairing is. Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, two guys that just have a lot of experience individually, but a lot of experience playing together in Buffalo. And one thing I kind of liken it back to a degree, but I think more so, is when Pittsburgh played the Patriots, granted with Mitch Trubisky, not Mason Rudolph, because the Pats had a pretty veteran secondary, a veteran safety like Jabril Peppers. They could disguise their coverages and they would rotate late and hold their coverages, really well. And so that post-snap picture was often different than the pre-snap picture for the quarterback and for the offense, the receivers running their routes and making sight adjustments and things like that. So I see on tape, especially Poyer, really able to disguise, and he'll, drop into the deep third last second, and you have to react and adjust to that. So just that with a combination of their sim and pressure and creeper looks are all going to be really key for Rudolph and for the O-line, the protection to handle that, but for Rudolph to decipher where to go with the football, because Buffalo can really hide things well. Finally, have to mention special teams, the weather element, who can kick in this, who can punt in this, who can snap in this, who can hold in this. That's all going to be really critical. The snow is going to be one component, but oftentimes the wind is the more, substantial factor in terms of hooking a field goal or a punt or a snap that goes awry, and those things can matter more than even when it's snowing fairly significantly. So that's going to be really critical on both sides, obviously. The Bills, they just had a 95-yard punt return for a touchdown that really helped swing the game in their favor against Miami. So that's going to be, key in terms of the coverage units. And can Pittsburgh create some splash? Or really, I think that in this game, it's going to be about who will avoid the mistake and who might make the mistake from a unit standpoint. Again, the weather is going to have a real impact there. So special teams is going to be really critical. If this game is close, advantage Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is 9-2 this year in one-possession games. That's the best mark in the NFL. Buffalo 6-6 in one-possession games this year. Just one last stat to give you guys. All right, I've talked way too long, and so my prediction in this one, I can see a path to victory for Pittsburgh. I think the national media, in a lot of ways, are too quickly writing this team off. But still, I could not get to the point to pick the Steelers. I'm taking Buffalo 24-16. I know what I just said about one-possession games. I'm kind of going against that here. I just think Pittsburgh's secondary, while it's getting healthier, has been pretty simplistic in terms of its spot drop zone. I think Josh Allen, that offense, that passing game will take advantage of that. And defensively, Buffalo is really underrated. They know Pittsburgh will run the ball. They're going to do their best to stop it. They may have some success. I think Pittsburgh will be able to run it, and a lot of elements play in the Steelers' favor. But I just think Buffalo, a little too much firepower overall. They're at home in this one. I'm going to go Buffalo. All right, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate you guys watching and listening. Drop your score predictions. Do you think Pittsburgh will pull off the upset, or will Buffalo win this one and extend Pittsburgh's playoff drought to 7 straight seasons? That'll be the takeaway if Pittsburgh loses. If Pittsburgh wins, we already know where they're playing. They'll play at Baltimore in the divisional round. Pittsburgh will be the 7 seed, Baltimore the 1 seed. Highest seed plays the lowest seed, and so that game is already going to be known if Pittsburgh pulls off the victory. We presume Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, but stay tuned. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate you guys watching. Again, please like this video. Subscribe to the channel. Win or lose or snow, we'll have a recap, analysis, and film room of this game for you guys throughout the week. Again, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.